Hello everyone. Today I've got a bit of a different video to show you. I'm going to be building a computer. I'm off to uni soon, so this is the computer that I'll be putting at home for my parents. It's a computer which I think will be good for future upgradability. Also, it's pretty future-proof because I've got, as you see, the components I've chosen. There won't be much in the way of lag or slowness on the computer. They won't be using it for gaming, obviously. So it'll just be a production, just checking emails, browsing the web, doing Office, turning it on, obviously. So it's got to be fast and responsive because they're impatient. So yeah, let's get started with the parts that I've chosen. So I've got all my parts in this box. I bought them all from Amazon. So let's get started. So here, let's start with the power supply. We've got an EVGA 500 watt power supply. Now, 500 watts was a bit overkill, but for the prices in the UK are really crazy. So for 300 watts, it's like £2.50 less. So you might as well get nearly double the wattage. It's an 80 plus bronze power supply, so at least it's going to work and not blow up. So there we go, that's the power supply. The guts of the processor, guts of the machine will be the processor. Now I've gone with a AMD A10-7850K. Now the good thing about this processor, it's an APU, but the good thing about it is that it's got 4 cores and it's got an onboard graphics. So even if they were to accidentally open up some sort of, I don't know, graphical demanding game of some sort, like really low, I don't know, like the basic things like switching between windows and not having blur or lag between like having 12 windows open at once and like dragging the windows everywhere. So it's got R7 graphics on board, so there's plenty of graphics horsepower with that. Obviously this does come with a heatsink, otherwise the box would not be this big. I will obviously not be using that because it's loud and irritating even if you're not doing anything with it. So that's the APU. Now to cool it, as I was mentioning, we've got a air-cooled fan. We've got the Arctic Freezer 13. Now this is a heatsink which will fit in the case. It's got a, I think it's a 120mm fan. It looks quite small actually, so it might not be 120mm. Sorry, 92mm fan. It's quite a small fan, but the heatsink is giant. Not as giant as a Noctua heatsink obviously, but it doesn't come with that price either. So this was a great price for performance. I picked all my parts on PC Part Picker and then went to websites that I knew and had, like, I don't know, Amazon are just great with returns and stuff. If anything goes wrong, you just tell them, they send you a new one, then you send the old one back, so you're not left without a system. So that's that. Right, the heatsink over there. Next we've got the RAM. Now I know this may be a bit overkill for a non-gaming build, but I've gone with the Fury HyperX RAM, 8 gigs. Basically this was the cheapest 8GB RAM stick in the UK on PC Part Picker. I couldn't be bothered to go around looking for cheaper by like £1 or £2 because RAM is expensive anyhow. So I've gone with the Fury X, Fury HyperX. Not Fury X, that'll be a bit overkill. Yeah, so as RAM I've gone with that. 8 gigs is plenty for anything. Right, the hard drive, obviously not hard drive, we've got a Kingston V300 solid state drive, 120 gigs. Basically it's an SSD, it's fast, it's SATA 3. As you'll soon see, the motherboard is SATA 3, so that will be perfect for anything. They don't need any storage. I'll be taking all the hard drives with me on my current computer, which they also use to uni with me, so they don't need anything. They need like 1 or 2 files, so that can all go on the SSD and the operating system as well, and a few programs. They don't. 120 gig is plenty. I thought it wouldn't be, but it is, considering I bought myself a 256GB Samsung Pro 840 SSD a couple of years ago. I thought, okay, I'm going to need 256 gig. but it turns out I didn't end up putting much on it. The only thing I've got on it, which takes up a ton of space, is GTA 5. Not really necessary to go on an SSD, but it does improve the ridiculously long waiting times that you have in the game. And everything else is on my other old hard drive, which is slow if you have the operating system on it as well. But now there's nothing on it constantly reading and writing to the drive, you don't actually need a dedicated SSD for other games. So yeah, I've gone with a hard drive on my system. It's just to take the load off. The SSD is literally there to take the load off the hard drive so that the hard drive is waiting for you to tell it what to do. And then the hard drives are pretty fast, as long as it doesn't have an OS on it. Right. And last but not least, the motherboard. I've gone with an FM2 Plus motherboard, the FM2 A78 Pro 3 Plus from ASRock. It was by far the cheapest motherboard with SATA 3. SATA 3 was a big point because, look, SATA 2 is, with an SSD, is fast, but I just wanted to make sure that there is nothing they could possibly complain about and that it was perfect in every way. So I've gone with the SATA 3 board, and it's also one of the only ones to have that and USB front headers for the case, which you may have seen a silhouette of, or if you can actually see it over here. So that's the motherboard. Let's put that over here. And last but not least, we have the case. Now let's move all this. You may have noticed, but you probably can't see it very well, this is the Thermaltake Versa G1, I think. Yeah, Versa G1. It's got a little window, not really necessary. Basically, it was the cheapest case from a reputable brand that had front USB 3 and intake and exhaust vents on the top. Because some cases don't have any mesh at all, it's just a solid piece of metal at the top. And the problem with that is that some heat sinks don't mount properly on AMD platforms, so the heatsink and the fan blow up the air to the top of the case, and if there's no vents there, it's not going to get out. It's going to make the whole case hotter, the fan's louder, and then I'll get a call from them in the middle of my course. So I'd rather I make the calls and that they didn't have anything to complain about. So that's the case. It looks nice from the front. Let me just give you a quicker close-up of the front. That's the front. It's got the two USB 3s, I think. Yeah, two USB 3s, power button, reset button, LEDs for usage, and that's that. Right, it's not heavy. I was just trying to carefully put it down to make sure they didn't scratch the table. Okie doke, let's get started on this. So as a PC builder, all you need is scissors to unlock the packaging, along with a knife, and a screwdriver with a Phillips head. So that's that, and I will get started now. I'd just like to restart the video just temporarily to say that Kingston, I hate you for putting your stuff in clamshell packaging. It's the biggest pain in the arse to open, and I hate you for it. Right, as you can see, I'm mid-build. I've just got the motherboard, the CPU, and the heatsink in there, and I've discovered two really annoyingly stupid things. First thing is, I'll show you a bit later, screw on the motherboard goes into the case. It's just above the RAM slots, which means can't get a screwdriver in there. Like, who thought that was a good idea? Next one is, oh my god, where is it? Okay, the CPU fan has the most stupid disassembly mechanism in the world. Look at that. That is what you have to get off. These don't move at all. You're supposed to pry this open and take the fan off because it comes ready-made with the CPU cooler. So these are really, really stiff. You can't get anything under there. You have to have the thinnest knife in existence, which actually works. It's ridiculous. They need to change this right now. Okay, that's rant over. I'll just show you what I mean by the screw. It's a bit difficult to show you, and this is why, this just proves my point. There, that screw right there, like, it's right behind Look at that. That's a view from above. Okay. Okay, that's a direct view from above. How is one supposed to get a screwdriver in there? Like, seriously, you need the longest screwdriver in existence with no head on it, with no grip, handle grip. So well, here's my work in progress. I managed to get the screw in using a screwdriver that I got out of a Christmas cracker. Yeah, and now I'm putting the fan back on, which should be fun if I don't break my fingers. Okay, so another in progress, sorry. Got everything, well, it's standing up as you can see. Haven't plugged in anything from the power supply, but I've got the front USB in, I've got the HD audio in, fiddled around with the power switches and LEDs, got the 2 case fans in, and yeah, nice and tidy cables over there as well. Right, so it's done. So what I've ended up doing is, there is no cable management, there's no dedicated cable management in this case, so I've done the best I can. The problem was the HD audio one, because as you can see I've had to run it up past the cooler, because it goes to the top of the case at the front, so it's not even top, it's top front. It would be more helpful if it was a bottom front, but no cases come with bottom anymore. Sorry about that. Okay, so I've used these cable ties, which I really like, that EVGA has included, because as you can see, the mechanism allows you to remove them and reuse them, which is really nice. So instead of providing you with like 10 cable ties, they provided with 4 of those, which is just as good, because if you make a mistake, which often happens, you don't have to jam your scissors in there trying to cut it off, because you don't have to, because it's got these bubble design. Oh, sorry. There you go, you can see. Yeah, obviously firstly, there's no window that shows all of this mess. Secondly, the power supply was cheap enough that I don't care if the cables even didn't come braided, because it was as cheap as it was the cheapest power supply I could get my hands on. Thirdly, whatever. There was no like toolless mounting system or any mounting system at all that comes with the case for SSDs. So there's just a spot at the bottom, which happily it sits there, it's fine. It's not, it's solid. It's been screwed in from the bottom, so that's good. I don't have any hard drives, as I said earlier. One thing you may have noticed is that I did not have a monitor in my lineup. That's because I already have one. They don't care what monitor it is, so it's an old 1280 by 1024 square monitor, which doesn't do it justice, but whatever. It's not me that has to look at a horrible 4x3 display. I'll be taking the 16 by 90 uni. So that's it. That's the best I could do with the cable management. I'm sorry if it's not good enough, but it's really hard when there's no dedicated cable management. Okay, so apart from the annoyance with the CPU cooler, I might as well just plug it in, get it running, and then, give you guys a little conclusion talk. Well, that is it. It's all done. I'm just about to go turn it on. So, just thought I'd start the recording to show you how long it takes to turn on. Yeah, that's it. Everything is done. Apart from one final thing I've just left for the video, and I'm going to do it now. The observant crowd out there might have realised that there's still a bit of plastic on the little window here, so I'm going to go ahead and peel that off. There's one on the inside as well. I thought that was going to be like the final thing, but I have to go and take that one off. Right, So now that that awkward thing is out the way, I'm going to plug in the keyboard. I've already installed Windows 10 on it, so all that's left to do is turn it on, and yeah, let's do this. Or is it there? Ta-da! Well, that was slow. Disappointed. Okay, so boot time is about 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. That was off, by the way. That was shut down. If you don't believe me, I will prove it to you. Let me just let's press restart. Okay, restarting. I'm going to use the, there we go. Okay, so while that's happening, basically the build went pretty well. Nothing out of the ordinary. Apart from the annoying thing that I mentioned earlier, which is the CPU cooler having no stupid, oh my god, the stupid mounting design for the fan. Holy crap, that's terrible. Another thing is, you can't mount the fan sideways, it has to blow upwards, which is annoying, but as I said earlier, I knew that that was the case, so I bought a case with air vents at the top. Slightly annoying because it looks better pushing out the back of the case. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Looks nice, it's a mid-tower case, and everything works great. So, thank you for watching this different video, not just a usual review and unboxing. Thought I might as well do it because, you know, a lot of people going to uni now, so they might be taking their computers. It's a rare situation that my gaming computer that I have is used by my parents, because I occupied the office like space, so that was why I had to build them one. Otherwise, they'd just be left with like a 7-year-old laptop which runs Ubuntu, which is really slow. So yeah, I'm sure this will be great. I'm sure they'll be impressed with the speed. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like this video if you liked it. Obviously, if you didn't like it, then dislike it. I don't recommend doing that. Subscribe if you want to see more things and if you enjoy what I'm doing, and definitely leave a comment. I'm always replying to comments. Look at any of my other videos. I reply to every single comment that isn't a troll. So yeah, thanks for watching.